If you don't know Tyler the Creator as a person, you at least know him as one of the most authentic ambassadors of hip-hop out there. But if you're not familiar with him as a person or as a rapper, you're seriously missing out on some rich, quality goodness. For those who might not know much about Tyler, let me give you a quick rundown to set the stage before diving into his incredible analysis of the state of hip-hop. Tyler the Creator is a 33-year-old rapper, singer, songwriter, and producer from LA. He's essentially a jack of all trades when it comes to music. From concept to execution, there's almost nothing Tyler doesn't excel at in the creative process. While many people only discovered him after his mainstream breakthrough, he's been in the game much longer than that. It's easy to forget his days when he was the leader of the rap collective Odd Future, a group of insanely talented creatives who took the budding internet era by storm in the early 2010s with their raw, unapologetic, and passionate artistry. Tyler has always been a creative genius. Since as far back as 2007, he's shown that he's got an uncanny ability to be a pioneer and a visionary. Although it took years for him to get his flowers, it's rewarding to see him now recognized as a rapper who constantly pushes the boundaries of what's possible. While Tyler the Creator is a genius at many things, his lyricism arguably stands out the most. His knack for being provocative and controversial in his bars earned him both praise and criticism, especially in the early days of his career. But ever since he decided to switch things up in 2017, particularly with the release of Flower Boy, everything changed for Tyler. It became the turning point where he started receiving the respect he truly deserves. Widely regarded as one of the most improved and evolved rappers of the 2010s, Tyler's shift toward a more polished, melodic, and vulnerable style was exactly the breath of fresh air hip-hop needed. His decision to incorporate genres like soul and jazz into his hip-hop foundation was nothing short of a masterstroke, cementing his reputation as the ultimate creative genius. Since then, every album he's released has been a certified hit, one after the other. And let's be real, if you've listened to his projects, you probably agree with this sentiment. If not, you're missing out. Now, a few months ago, Tyler the Creator made headlines with a thought-provoking take on the direction hip-hop is headed, sparking heated conversations across the industry and among fans on social media. In a captivating discussion with Maverick Carter, Tyler offered an unfiltered critique of the genre's current state, particularly when it comes to emerging talents and the challenges of creating meaningful art in today's world. You see, Tyler has always been known and respected for sharing his unfiltered thoughts, especially through his lyrics. So when someone with his pedigree in hip-hop has something to say about the genre, it's definitely worth paying attention to. Just trust me on that, because by the time we break it all down, you'll be just as intrigued. In his conversation with Maverick, Tyler focused on how the new generation of rappers approaches music creation and their often shallow attempts at maintaining authenticity. According to Tyler, the lack of originality in hip-hop has never been more apparent. He also pointed out how internet culture plays a major role in the decline of quality music, as it now dictates what gets mainstream attention and what fades into obscurity. You can't be a real hip-hop fan and not agree with Tyler's analysis of the decline in the quality of hip-hop music in recent years. It's become way too obvious not to agree that the genre has hit a huge slump in recent years. Tyler, however, didn't stop there. He expressed how difficult and frustrating it has been for him to take any of these new artists seriously. He just couldn't wrap his head around how so many of them achieve all the fame and attention they are getting despite delivering underwhelming performances, particularly when it comes to talent. Tyler's critique wasn't solely about the music these rappers produce. It was more about their approach to their artistry and the glaring lack of substance in much of their work. Tyler highlighted Mac Miller and Eminem as examples of artists who created quality hip-hop with substance, even as white men in a black-dominated culture. Later in the interview, Tyler turned his attention to an unnamed white rapper who, in his view, has been mocking artists like Gucci Mane and Future by imitating their style in a way that came off as disrespectful. While Tyler didn't name drop anyone directly, fans quickly put on their detective hats to figure out who he might be referring to. Most fingers ended up pointing at a 19-year-old artist from Dallas, Texas, named Ian. Now, there's a good chance many of you haven't heard of Ian, but he's been gaining traction recently, mostly for controversial reasons. Ian has faced harsh criticism for his music, with many accusing him of adopting African American Vernacular English, or AAVE, a speech pattern common among black rappers despite being white. If you've ever listened to this guy's music, you'd probably agree that he doesn't sound white at all. While Tyler didn't specifically call out Ian by name, the evidence strongly suggests Ian might be the white rapper Tyler was referring to, and to be honest, it doesn't take much to see why he accused him of mimicking Future and Gucci Mane. Putting the whole mimicking thing aside, Tyler made some much bigger points about the state of hip-hop culture as a whole. He argued that the seriousness of the craft has been severely watered down. Most new rappers, according to Tyler, are only in the game to make a quick buck with little to no interest in making an impact or elevating the genre. And let's be honest, the major labels bear a significant share of the blame for this decline. They hold most of the power in the music industry, deciding what gets pushed to the forefront and what doesn't. Labels no longer seem to care about hip-hop's legacy or standards. Their sole focus is on profits, because that's the only language they understand. If that means churning out algorithm-based music, well then so be it. While there are plenty of independent artists out there pushing boundaries and doing incredible things in their careers, they often fly under the radar because they lack the backing of major labels. Independent artists rarely get the recognition they deserve, no matter what they achieve. You won't see them winning major awards or dominating mainstream charts, but what sets them apart is their dedicated fan base. Fans who show up and show out for their artists in a way that feels genuine. That kind of loyalty is something you rarely see with artists tied to the industry machine. This is why it will always remain a terrible idea to rate an artist based on awards won or the number of songs in the charts. That just shows how much these major labels have over these factors. Although labels are slowly losing some of their monopoly, they still hold the keys to the kingdom. For most artists, the best chance of mainstream success still lies with a major label, and that reality isn't changing anytime soon, whether we like it or not. The financial capital required to break an artist into the mainstream is massive. We're talking millions of dollars just to get their music heard. Right now, only the labels have the resources to make that happen, and until something disrupts that dynamic, the status quo will remain firmly in place. There's no doubt that Tyler has seen firsthand how the industry works and how much it's changed over the years. That's why his comments about the state of hip-hop hit harder than most. Music isn't about artistry anymore. It's about squeezing every last dollar out of the system, even if it means dragging the quality to an all-time low. Artists are dropping off like flies because they can't hold the audience's attention for more than a couple years. What many don't realize is that chasing algorithm-oriented trends to go viral doesn't guarantee longevity. Not one bit. The audience's attention span has never been shorter, and the constant need for trendy, disposable music is unsustainable. At some point, the formula goes stale, and fans move on to the next big thing. The artistry and quality of the music have taken a back seat. These days, the goal is simply to make music that's good enough for fans to latch onto and create content around. Even though Tyler didn't call out anyone directly, his message was loud and clear. The new generation of artists feels like they're just pre-packaged products. The talent is sorely lacking, and it's only getting worse. Take Ian, for example. It's hard to ignore how labels will likely encourage him to keep mimicking the accent and vernacular he's been criticized for. Why? Because all that matters to them is the attention he's getting. Authenticity doesn't even come into the equation. Remember, all publicity is good publicity. The fact that he'll forever be seen as inauthentic or even a fake artist doesn't really matter to the powers that be. As long as the label profits within a year or two, they don't care if his fame fizzles out. And if Ian's success continues, there's no doubt there will be many Ians in the future. This is exactly the kind of cycle Tyler was pointing out in that interview. Most of the time when we talk about the state of hip-hop, the focus usually lands on the violence or the decline of lyrical quality, but maybe it's time we shift the conversation to the growing issue of inauthenticity, especially in cases like Ian's. Have you noticed that hip-hop seems to be the easiest genre for labels to market? Talentless artists can blow up overnight as long as they've got something distracting or intriguing about them, whether it's their look, their vibe, or in Ian's case, their accent. The barrier to entry in hip-hop has never been this low. It's wild to think that the rappers still holding things down are the OGs who've been in the game for decades, and for now, it looks like they'll need to keep doing the heavy lifting. Hip-hop is the epitome of black culture. The music and the culture itself are in perfect harmony. That's why it's unsettling to see labels pushing white rappers to adopt the lingo and aesthetic of a genre that isn't theirs to mimic. How long will these corporations keep exploiting hip-hop? The truth is, it's easy for them because fans don't seem to mind. They're happy to consume whatever's packaged and served up to them, and their attention span is so short that they don't even care if the artist fades away in a couple of years. Labels never leave money on the table, which means hardcore hip-hop fans are in for a rough ride. More generic, low-effort artists with little talent are bound to take over the charts in the coming months and years, and it doesn't seem that anything can be done about it. But here's the thing. Tyler's points from that interview don't just touch the surface, they highlight a much deeper issue. What he said reflects a broader problem that's been brewing in hip-hop for years. The drop in quality of both music and talent, especially since the 2020s, is alarming. If this downward slide isn't addressed, it's only going to get worse. This is why Kendrick Lamar's efforts to bring the genre back to its competitive roots deserve more appreciation. Hip-hop was meant to be a raw, authentic expression of black culture, but right now it's anything but. Storytelling skills, which were once the cornerstone of the genre, no longer seem to matter to major labels. Instead, the focus has shifted to marketability and songs designed to blow up on TikTok. It's unsettling to imagine where the genre would be if K-Dot hadn't stepped in to slow the decline. His commitment to restoring hip-hop's integrity is a rare and crucial effort, especially at a time when so many others are content to let the genre drift away from its roots. But let's not act like Tyler himself is completely innocent when it comes to some of the things we've discussed today. If we're being honest, a lot of his earlier controversial moments felt like calculated moves to keep him in the spotlight. Still, there's one thing about Tyler that's always been undeniable: his genuine music. He's consistently been a flag bearer for quality, innovative sounds, and thought-provoking lyrics. No matter what, he's one of the few still holding it down for the culture. Now that Kendrick has stepped up and taken the reins, there's hope that the quality of music and talent in hip-hop will start to improve. His former label, TDE, is a shining example of what a well-run, artist-focused label should look like. Here's hoping labels like OVO and others in the game can take a page or two from their book and step up their approach moving forward. In the end, it takes the whole community to restore the standards that have been lost. So what do you think about Tyler's thoughts on the state of hip-hop? Do you think he's got a point, or is he being too harsh? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content that dives deep into the stories shaping the entertainment industry. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.